Hello, everyone, and welcome to another brand new episode of the Top 10. I am John Roca.
And I am Matt Nost. We're here to bring you another movie-based show here in the Top 10, where today we're counting down Disney movies since the year 2000. Our favorite top 10s there for the new movie Encanto.
Yeah.
Which is what I love. I love you.
No, Encanto means like a rhythm or a place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Encanto means something that enchants you or excites you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Encantar. Yeah. Conflated. I don't use my Spanish as much as I should.
Neither do I, brother. Neither do I. That's why I'm considering doing some reviews on Sundays in Spanish, just seeing if I could work it out, kind of talk it out, and see if maybe I can get away with it and see what people think. But it's a way to kind of keep in practice because I only use it when I talk to my mom. So,
yeah, I use it literally like anywhere that I run into somebody that's Spanish, you can tell that English is clearly their second language.
Oh, yeah.
So I try and use Spanish. So my Spanish is as good as their English is. You know what I mean? So between, but I always,
you meet in the middle. You guys,
well, I'm trying, and just like, hey, what is the word for this? And then oh, that's this. So I try and use it as much as I can. I used a few days ago when I went and got. It's a great place by us that does rotisserie chicken, but it's a Mexican rotisserie chicken.
Nice.
But they're all Latino, and you can definitely tell that English is their second language. So
yeah,
I can easily. It's really simple to order. Yo quiero número 5 por favor, pero easy, done. Not a problem.
Good job.
Thank you. But then no salsa. Oh, you don't like our salsa? Is what he said back to me. But I was like, mi esposa. No, and then I was saying, I couldn't remember like in the moment. It's like, mi esposa no quiere.
That's good.
But I just like, I can't remember. She doesn't like it. She just doesn't want it. But it's a difference of.
Right.
No
le gusta. No le gusta. Is what
gusta. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Gustar. As soon as you say it, be like, God, I can't believe I forgot that. Because I don't use it every day.
Right. Exactly.
I used to narrate my days in Spanish. I was like in college and stuff. I was a good Spanish student. I thought about minoring in it. So I would whatever I was doing around my house, or if I'm walking to class, I'm describing the scenes in my head in Spanish. So I'm constantly using the Spanish. I was good at one time.
Mateo está caminando en clase para matemática.
Despacio, por favor, porque no entiendo mucho cuando una persona hablo rápido.
Oh, that's good. See, not too bad.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's very formal.
We can go international, Matt. We can start doing live shows in Spanish countries. For the time.
Sure. Watch me fumble to make the most rudimentary of statements. That's good. I sound like a first grader.
Número 10.
Número 10 es. And then I can't remember how to conjugate the past participles, so I don't even do it. I just dance around it.
I used to go crazy because I would take Spanish. Because you know what? Now looking back, I was such an idiot. I should have taken another foreign language in high school, or whatever. Because I took Spanish. Oh yeah, of course, just to get an easy A or B. I mean, it was so easy, so it wasn't a big deal.
You better not have gotten a B.
Well, just because you can speak it doesn't mean you understand like the past, present participle and all that nonsense.
Yeah, but
I speak from flow, from knowledge, from just whatever.
You have an active 2 teachers at home.
Yeah, true. That's true. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I got A's. I'm pretty sure, but writing it out and speaking it are 2 different things, man. So
they are.
They can get you on the writing.
It's easier to read it for me than it is because people speak at a quick pace. So you just got to be like, dude, you need to slow down. Talk to me like a child.
And the different accents.
Oh right? Yeah,
because like the Cuban accent, they remove the S's from plurals, and it's a deeper one. And so it's a different approach to Spanish. The Argentinian Spanish is faster. So it's all different rhythm. And of course, the Spanish has the theta, and so it's a whole other different pattern in speech.
You go to the Catalonia region.
Oh yeah,
and it's all of a sudden it's gracias, and you're like, this is really strange to me because I've only known one way.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, hey, dude, if you want to start doing it, sure, let's go. Let's go. gonna be the quickest reviews of all time.
That's true.
Yo
See?
quiero.
No.
Yeah. See, no. I don't even know the word for thumbs.
um.
Something.
Oh shit!
Thumb.
I know dedo is finger. I don't know thumb. Damn. Now you
What?
got now you
Something.
got me, put me on the spot.
Alto. Is that what we would say for up? That's. Wait, you looking up Spanish for thumb?
Yeah, because I should know it.
I know.
Pulgar.
Izquierdo,
Pulgar.
you know,
Pulgar.
derecho. I know the directionals.
Yeah, direction. Derecho is right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, derecho and
Straight on the
izquierdo. It's easy. Well, it's like when you're in Spain. It's like dos calles y derecho, and then just like how many streets. Tell me that. I can do that.
Right. You can get that far.
Okay, but if you start giving me like landmarks and whatnot, it's like I don't know the words for some of these things that you're saying. So,
oh right, yeah, like Statue of Liberty,
yeah, but it would
Mount Rushmore.
Well, I mean that one would be a little bit easier.
Really, you know the word for statue in Spanish?
No, but I mean,
Liberty.
What? Libertad.
Libertad. See.
Yeah, so de Libertad would be like, okay, that's the Statue of Liberty. Context clues. I can figure that out. But if it
get there, I can get there. Yeah, estatua is a statue, so you could get there.
Estatua, yeah,
you could get there.
Did you find out what thumb is? What is
yeah,
thumb?
pulgar,
Pulgar.
P-U-L-G-A-R, pulgar.
Pulgar alto. Would that be thumbs up?
Wait, now I have to look that up.
Pulgar
thumbs
alto?
up in Spanish. I don't know.
Thumbs up and then thumbs down. I don't know the word for down.
Pulgares hacia arriba. So there you go. Pulgares hacia arriba.
Sí, hacia arriba. Pulgar hacia arriba.
Yeah. Some people like to roll the R's. Some people don't like to roll the R's. So, yeah.
And then what about thumbs down? What do you got?
You can say luz verde as well, which is like green light.
The truth?
Luz verde. Luz being light, verde being green. Thumbs down in Spanish is pulgares abajo. Pulgares abajo.
Abajo. Okay.
Yeah.
Pulgares abajo. I will totally remember that. Pulgar, I will. That one I can remember. Pulgar.
Yeah.
And when is that going to come up? No clue.
Who knows? Who knows?
Hey, check out these thumbs in Spanish. I can say that now. Hey, I got nothing, guys. I got nothing. But what I do appreciate about it is when I'm actively trying, every person that I do it with tries to help.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, that's awesome."
We're not a shitty people. We like
no, I'm not saying that, but
meet us halfway. It's great.
Yeah, well, they take it for what it is. Me earnestly trying to better myself.
Right.
Not like, talking down to them or something ridiculous. It's just like, oh, okay, you're actively trying.
Yeah.
I remember the delight on one woman's face. I had this house to clean, and I hired cleaners to help me do it because it was just too big a job.
Right.
And so I was trying to do that with them a couple of years ago. But every time I'd ask her, "Hey, how do you say that?" and she would light up. Oh, that's you say it like this. I'm like, oh, okay, and then try and remember throughout the day as we're cleaning and whatnot. But try. I need to use it more than I do.
I love to use it when I can. Like you said, with people you come in contact with. Our house cleaner is Israeli, so I don't get to use it with her. But in our past house cleaner, where we lived in Beverly Hills, he was Latino, so I got to occasionally speak with him or his wife in Spanish. And then our gardeners, though, the guys who come that we don't pay for, they're paid for by the people in the house. Mm-hmm. They're Spanish, so whenever Lindley wants something done when they come for gardening, I have to be the person who walks out there and speaks to them for a little bit, which is fun. And they were not like the first time I spoke in Spanish to them because it was an Asian couple that lived here for 5 years. Or Asian family rather, who lived here so they didn't speak any Spanish. So when we first spoke, he was just like, "Oh my God, it's so nice to be able to speak to somebody who understands what I'm talking about. I don't have to kind of fumble for the words." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever you need to do, whatever you need." So pretty cool people too. So yeah,
I've been called in as a translator once.
Oh, really? Nice.
And I mean, it went fine. It was a painter.
Okay.
And just like needed to relay, hey, it was down at the shop.
Yeah.
When we were opening the new location, just like, this is what we're trying to go for.
Right.
And he pulled it off. I mean, the guy's phenomenal. And at the time we were like, man, he is so good. He works so quick. And then I found out like 6 months or 8 months later, he got busted for meth. You'd be like, well, that kind of explains it. But he banged out a job so fast. And it was, I mean, it still looks good all these years later.
Right.
So he did great work. And then it's kind of one of those that we found out about the meth, and you're like, yeah, but the work's so good. So long as his health isn't affected, I think it's a net positive for all involved.
Yeah.
He gets to work more. We got a good job. Who's at harm here?
Who does it
Yeah.
hurt? Yeah, that's a fair point.
Who does it hurt? But clearly him if he was abusing it, then eventually got arrested for it. But
Right.
yeah, when we found out, we were like, "Ay," because we were trying to get him for a friend of ours needed a painter, and we're like, "Dude, we got the guy, we got him." And then we reached out to the person that introduced us to him. Be like, "Ooh, no dice. He is indisposed."
He's busy right now.
He is busy right now
for the next few years. So.
I don't know if it was that severe. I think he just got busted with a little bit of meth on him.
Just sprinkle some meth on him and get on out of here.
Get the hell out of here. This black guy left pictures of himself everywhere. Yeah, Johnson, just sprinkle some crack on him. Let's get out of here.
Let's go, Johnson.
That bit is so good.
The thing is, I did know I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
That's my favorite moment.
Ridiculous, over the top laugh. That is Dave Chappelle. Go watch his older specials.
Oh yeah, love him. All right, so anyway, we're counting down these top 10 Disney animated films, and we're excited to do so. And these are not Pixar,
No,
it's just Disney animated films. As we said, in honor of Encanto, and we got into the Spanish discussion. I saw the film. It's fucking gorgeous. I got emotional. I recorded myself crying because I was like, it's great. Finally, after all these years on this earth, to see something like this that is very South American, that it kind of accentuates the culture and accentuates what we have and supports it and promotes it and uplifts it. And so it's so great. So I cannot recommend it enough for you all to go see it from my own personal point of view. And Matt, when you get a chance to see, because I know you love animation, I think you're really going to be blown away by the kind of animation they have in this movie. I was shocked at some of the things they were. The photorealism in the film is like beyond anything I've ever seen. So
sweet. Yeah, looking forward to it. I love a good animated film.
There you go.
We excluded Pixar, and then there's all kinds of different, like Disney distributed this, but it was made by another production company that you can find. That didn't count to me.
Yeah.
So basically anything from Walt Disney Studios was in contention.
Yeah.
Although technically now, I don't have, say, Ron's Gone Wrong.
Oh, right. No, I haven't seen that one. That's why I didn't.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
But they're owned by Disney. It's released from Searchlight, which is formerly Fox.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So would that hypothetically count for you?
I feel like it wouldn't, because it's not sourced from Disney. So
I agree.
Right. So to me, I tried to be very clear. And Matt, please call out if anything on my list is not, and I didn't know about it. But I think everything on my list is sourced straight from Walt Disney Animation Studios, because it's a different vibe. It's a different creative process. Yeah. So you can't, just because they're distributing it, you can't say they're a Disney animated film. I don't think so. I think you have to qualify.
Not at the rules that we set out.
Right.
So we were saying Disney animated. So that's what we're going for on the show. But I mean, I could have screwed it up. Hopefully it didn't miss anything. I don't believe I did. But it's also 21 years of movies, and you can find a full list on Wikipedia of everything Disney has released animated over that time.
Right.
So it's entirely possible that missed something as I was going through that list. And there was, I think legitimately about 12 movies in contention.
Yeah,
maybe,
I had about
13.
12 to 15. Yeah, I would agree with that. Or 10 to 15 movies that were in contention here. Yeah, definitely. That I could make a case for. Were they going to kind of be on the list? Probably in the end, no. But there was only one or two that I thought, well, could have maybe made the list, but in the end didn't. So, but everything else was still 15 is pretty good out of 20 years, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, there's one massive one that is not on my list.
Okay.
Could be the biggest of the past 21 years. But I wasn't a fan.
Fair enough.
Is that on your list?
I don't know. I don't know which one you're referencing.
I'm pretty sure you do.
Okay.
What's the biggest Disney movie of the past 20 years? Hands down. It's like not even close. There's one, and then all the others are trying to be that successful.
Well, maybe it'll show up on my list. So let's not blow it too early.
Maybe it will.
There's no rush. No rush.
It's had a sequel.
Yeah, maybe a sequel that my partner JT should have watched. Maybe.
Oh, did he screw up a question?
Yeah, man. We were. Listen, I'm
What
not
was the
calling out
question?
my brother. I'm not calling out my brother because I really enjoyed playing with him this year, man. He was so much fun to play
Yeah,
with.
he's a good dude.
He is, right? And he's
Yeah.
got this he's like what do you call him? Fuck, man. What does Simmons call those guys? Unconscious confidence. What does he call those? Irrational confidence.
Oh, rational confidence.
JT is an irrational confidence guy. Like, he rarely gets rattled. He thinks he's going to win every match he walks into, and that you grab onto that energy and play with it, and it works. I mean,
Sure.
we had TKOs left and right as a tag team. It was great. But in our match with Final Exam, which is Lon and Paul, JT missed one question that first round. I had a perfect round and got the extra bonus question. If JT had gotten the extra bonus question, we would have won by 1 point because they went to multiple choice on one of their questions in the second round. So we answered everything correctly except JT missed that, and he would have known the bonus, he said, but he missed that one, and it was 2 songs from Frozen 2, and he went Frozen instead of Frozen 2. So, it was a 50-50 shot.
It's been on in the background at family
Yeah.
gatherings, but I've never watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the first one.
Well, there you
Although
go.
the songs are hooky as shit. They're really, I mean, they're great songs.
Yeah, they're good songs. They're better than the sequel songs. That's for damn sure. I don't care what anybody says.
It's a tough mountain to climb, though.
It's true. It's very true.
But at the same time, those songs then got played out because every child nonstop wanted to hear it.
Oh yeah, and sing it.
So glad, that I didn't have to live through too much of that. Just, I always feel bad for parents. And we're watching this for the 375th time this week, and that's not even an exaggeration. Like, oh my God, that's got to be mind numbing. I mean, eventually they grow out of it, but for a few years, it's just like, I want to watch this again. You're like, oh,
yeah.
I don't know that I did that because, well, we didn't get a VCR until I was, I don't know, like 7.
Wow.
Maybe 8, something like that.
All right.
I still remember when my parents showed it to us. It was like a big dramatic. They opened the box and then we all started celebrating. We're like, oh my God, we got a VCR. And the first movie we had was Tootsie for some reason. So I watched Tootsie. Along with a bunch of others, but Tootsie was the first one that I remember the VHS. I didn't even care. I was like, that's awesome. That's great. I love Dustin Hoffman. I'm 7.
How far can you pull back? How do you feel about Cleveland? Knock it off. I love that exchange. That's my favorite exchange in the movie. Love Tootsie. Anyway, so we're going to count down these top 10 films. Matt, I'll take it from here, if you don't mind. The way this works is we come up with a topic amongst ourselves, then we go off and come up with our own top 10 lists, show up here to record without having told each other our top 10 lists. Then we count them down 10 through 8, then 7 and 6, and then we go one apiece through the top 5 as we go along. And we do take a break between 6 and 5 for our sponsors, so just a little warning for any of you who might be trying us out for the first time. So Matt.
Boom.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. What do you got at 10?
Roll reversals, buddy. At 10, I've got Bolt.
Oh, nice, dude. This was the cut. I really, you know what?
It's a surprisingly good movie.
Fuck that. I'm going to put it on there. All right. I just knocked off. I'm going to put Bolt at 10. You talked me into it. Just
I had
putting it on
exceedingly low expectations going into it.
Right.
It's Miley Cyrus and John Travolta.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to like
And at that point, she was Hannah Montana, and he had, this is quite a few years past the Pulp Fiction late 90s run. This is, late mid 2000s.
Yeah.
7,
this is when
8,
Travolta
9.
was doing weird stuff.
Yeah. Starting to really, it wasn't quite the From Paris with Love era. I think that was still another 2-3 years away.
Yes.
But he was starting to skew towards that. Jesus, man, you can say no to jobs. You don't have to turn into Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Well, but it's a simple story. A girl and her dog, and they get separated. Now he's only known, like, they shoot a TV show together, which is cute because, Miley Cyrus is the voice of the girl and she's
Right.
grown up on a TV set. So it's kind of like a Bolt on some level is her because he believes in the reality because it's always been presented to him as this is a real show. You are a
Right.
real superhero type of thing.
Right.
But she's lived the Hannah Montana life. So I'm sure at some certain points it was tough to kind of divorce
Yeah.
what was real and what wasn't as a kid.
Mhm.
But then they get separated and he has to come to the realization that he's not superpower, but he still loves her and wants to get back to her and
Right.
protect her. And that's ultimately what he does.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they, spoiler alert, they get out of the business at the very end. But it's a nice cast between Bolt the dog, and then he picks up that cat that is a reluctant friend.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then there's like a guinea pig or a hamster or
Yes.
something.
A gerbil or something, right? Is it with
Yeah.
the-
Some small, tiny little creature that jumps on. But they make a nice little band of characters.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
But I was thoroughly surprised. I thought this was going to be a throwaway nothing Disney. And then I saw it long after it came out. I didn't go to the theater to watch it.
Right.
And I was like, that was really good. And unfortunately, it didn't have, I guess, the pull with kids and whatnot, because you could easily make a sequel to that. Although he gets out of the TV biz, so he's not really a superhero anymore.
Right. Right.
But it's never really had the traction amongst Disney fans that numerous other properties have.
It's really odd that it hasn't, because it's such a cute little film, and I don't know, it's just fun. And like you said, it's really surprising how much you enjoy the movie. And I like the animation style. Like the animation style is very interesting as well, and the gerbil with his little ball and everything like that's so funny,
I think, anytime a movie like this flops, the first thing that anyone goes to is it wasn't a princess.
Yeah, I guess.
Disney's formula is princess.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
There's a few on this list that both you and I really like that don't have anything to do with the princess. And it's the first thing people point to why it didn't do well. Like, I guess potentially.
But it is a young girl, a protagonist trying to reunite herself with her dog. So you imagine that would appeal to a lot of young people who have pets and what have you. But
it's not exactly a prince lead, but it is a male dog. And there is a little girl, but she is a secondary character to Bolt, because Bolt's the one that gets, taken to the other side of the country and then has to, fight his way back.
Right. Susie Essman is Mittens, the cat. She's so funny as the voice of Mittens in the movie as well. So that's really good stuff.
Who does the gerbil, hamster, guinea pig?
Is it? I think that's Mark Walton who's the voice of that.
Okay.
Because is there a name for that? Is he called? What's he called? Is he called Rhino in the film? What's he called?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, then it's that. Then it's James, Mark Walton rather, who does the voice of that.
Where do I know Mr. Walton from?
Oh, geez, I don't know. He's
because that name doesn't jump off the page to me.
Yeah, he's more of a voiceover actor.
Good for him.
Yeah, and he's a storyboard artist. Oh, I'm sorry, no, he's a storyboard artist, not a voiceover actor. He's done storyboards for Tarzan, Emperor's New Groove, Home on the Range, Romeo and Juliet, Epic, Turbo, Rio 2. Wow. So a storyboard artist, and I guess they just got him to do the voice for Rhino.
Somebody heard his voice and was like, this could be perfect.
Yeah, it's like the kid in Up. He was a storyboard artist, and they liked his voice when he's doing the scratch stuff. So
it's like the Assassination of Jesse James, the VO that you said.
Oh, yeah.
He's an editor.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, he got a good voice.
If you got a good voice, you got a good voice. And the thing made $310 million in the box office. I know it's not,
it's not epic, but it's still good.
Yeah, for 2008, $310 million was a big deal, I would think.
But you're not going to find a Bolt anything at any Disney park.
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe down at Disney World because there's so many parks and they have so much space to fill. But
right,
you're not going to find it here.
Yeah, so funny. It's the same director who did Big Hero 6, Chris Williams. So interesting. Well, that's maybe why I like it. All right, what's your 9, man?
My 9 is Atlantis.
Oh yeah, that one, that was a rough cut, man. I had to kind of drop. I was between that and another one that I've got coming up. So go ahead, brother. I love Atlantis. The Lost Empire.
The Lost Empire. The fabled Lost Empire that may or may not have existed if you believe the historical records that just slid into the ocean at some point. It's a great tale.
Yeah.
And people have been, on the search for it since its, disappearance, so to speak.
Yeah.
I actually watched
Yeah.
a documentary during the start of the pandemic about somebody who believes they may have found, and they've it's an interesting archaeological site, and it fits
Really?
a lot of the points that, or the archaeologically, it makes
Hmm.
some sense. And you see it
Okay.
and you're like, okay, definitively, I don't think you'll ever be able to prove any of it,
Yeah.
but this is interesting
Yeah.
nonetheless.
Yeah.
Sort of visit this long lost civilization and to show up, and they have like this weird advanced technology type of thing.
Mhm.
But the journey there, the casting of Michael J. Fox, and then you have I'll never remember his name, but the guy that was on SNL that did the Italian priest,
Oh, yeah,
and
Don
he's
Novello.
there you
Yeah.
go. He's the demolitions expert.
Right.
They have this ragtag group of mercenaries,
Yeah.
all being basically led by somebody who's slightly nefarious.
Mhm.
But I like that. I was drawn to it just for the historical aspect, and I thought it was an
Yeah.
interesting gamble for Disney, because it's usually they stick to fairy tale type stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to go after a civilization that may or may not have ceased to exist was an interesting tack for them.
Yeah.
And I think Michael J. Fox does a good job bringing that character to life. So I've always liked it, but I understand why it doesn't really appeal to Disney's base. So it doesn't get the same kind
Yeah.
of love.
Yeah, it's such an unusual animated film within the Disney landscape, and I think
Yeah.
that's why maybe some of, like you said, a lot of the Disney fans don't necessarily gravitate to this one, but I remember liking it, and I've seen it a couple times since, and I enjoy it. And you're right, it's an unusual voiceover cast because James Garner voices the kind of guy you're not sure about,
Oh yeah, he does. Forgot
right?
about
And
that.
then you have Claudia Christian. This is Claudia Christian right around the time when people knew who Claudia Christian was, because she was in Babylon 5. And then Jacqueline Obradors, who's a Latina actress, I believe. David Ogden Stiers is in this.
Mhm.
John Mahoney, Jim Varney, and Leonard Nimoy.
Oh
So it's an
yeah.
interesting combo of voices.
Well,
man.
Nimoy plays the old man that's the head of, but I forgot about
Yeah.
Varney.
Yeah, Varney in this thing as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got James Newton Howard to do the music, but yeah, this one didn't do anything. It was made for $120 million, but only made 186 at the box office. So unfortunately. Dude, it seems like the design of this and the artifacts and the everything about it was really unusual and distinct, but it seems like it wasn't something that Disney fans necessarily gravitated to, the look of it.
No, but it's a nice blend too of the computer graphics with hand drawn.
Yeah.
They started with Beauty and the Beast, and that was part of their rendering style.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to bring those crafts to life and the energy source and all that jazz, you can see where it's got a slightly cleaner feel to it. But I think it should too, because it's an advanced technology.
Yeah.
But it's just a fun story, and if you've never seen, I mean, they made a direct to DVD or video or whatever sequel.
Yeah, they did. You're right.
I have not seen that. But if it was put on, I'd happily watch it.
Right. Thomas Schumacher, who was the president of Disney, said at the time, it seemed like a good idea at the time to not do a sweet fairy tale, but we missed.
Yeah, they're in the business of fairy tales.
Yeah, true. All right. What's your 8?
My 8 is Lilo and Stitch.
That's my 9. All right, let's do this.
Originally was higher, and then I bumped it, reordering.
Yeah. I had it at 5 when I started initially doing the list, and then it kept going down. So I'm in the same boat as you on this. Yeah.
I had it, roughly either 5 or 6, and then I reordered a couple times, and it kind of got bumped down a little bit here and a little bit there.
Bumped down.
I do love that you can go back, you can find on YouTube side by sides of the edits they made post 9/11. Because that big spaceship flies through a city area and whatnot.
Right.
And I think the movie came out not too long around
I
that time.
think it was right around that time.
It's 2001. It might have come out like right before, and then on DVD release, they went back and changed a few things. So they don't have this big spaceship flying through buildings and everything, just to be a little bit more sensitive to everything that was going on. But I mean, a great addition to the Disney universe.
Yeah.
It's not quite princess, but you are following a little girl, and it's her older sister, and their parents are gone. Her older sister is doing her best to raise her
Yeah.
and stop Child Protective Services from taking her from them. And part of that is they go to adopt a dog, and Stitch is impersonating a dog because he got caught and goes home with him and whatnot. But then it becomes this big raucous journey. Just such a great character. It's like he's over the top aggressive, but at the same time, like every once again, he'll melt your heart.
Yeah.
But you know that he's got these, if he wants to unleash these Pennywise like teeth, and it's just this line of back and forth. And it's a sweet thing at the end where he's getting ready to be taken away, and he manages to convince, his galactic overlords that he should stay because he's part of their family. And it's a nice resolution to the overall. And it's a good message from Disney, in that family comes from unlikely places sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the love is true and genuine.
I agree. The family aspect of it all is really well done in the film. And once again, unusual animation, the kind of more circular animation combined with the jaggedness of the teeth and whatever in the mouth. And it's very interesting animation. And Stitch is an unusual character. And this animation feels like animation from back in the 40s. It almost feels like it's got that kind of vibe to it. And then you throw in the Elvis stuff, which I think is incredible. And then kind of the E.T. vibes about, having to,
Sure,
them coming after him and whatever. And is he going to go home or not? So a lot of it, I really, I love the film. It's so much fun and enjoyable. I just don't, it's not one that I go back to and watch a few times, which is why it's lower on my list.
Yeah.
But still, it was a hell of a film, and it made $275 million off an $80 million budget. So that's a hit. And people love Lilo and Stitch, man.
I agree. That's why I kept getting bumped down. It was like, how often do I go back to watch it at this point?
Yeah. Agreed. Okay. So that was your 8, my 9. So my 10 was Bolt, like we said. So my 8 is Treasure Planet.
That's a punt.
Okay.
It's not even a question. That's a punt. I can't believe that's an 8 for you.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. What's your 7?
My 7 is Tangled.
That's my 6. Cool. Yeah.
So this was part of the reordering. It was a little higher, and then it got lower, and then I, ultimately placed it here. I think it's really fun.
Yeah.
It's a great spin on Rapunzel. The mom character, it's a phenomenal twist on her, that she is maintaining her, and the mom-like character, I guess you should say, maintaining her youth by entrapping her in there. Great voiceover work. From tons of people involved. That lantern scene is just gorgeous. On film. I've always wanted to see some sort of light festival. Like there was one in India that's their annual light festival, like a week and a half ago. And I think one city does the big lanterns and whatnot. And every time I see those, just like, God, I would love to be there for any of those across Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
It's got to look so cool. It's just tens of thousands of those things just going up in the air. But that's where the animation really complements, gives an awe-inspiring within the story.
Yeah.
Like the vividness of her hair still stands out. But they also use it in fun ways, as she's down and she's swinging. She's kind of out of the house for the first time and trepidatious, but then just becomes like the exuberance and the joy that sparks across her face.
Yeah.
And I think it's a nice pairing against the malevolence of the mom.
Right. I agree. I mean, this was Mandy Moore at a time where I was like, like her time has passed. Like she's not that good of an actress, and she's like, blah, blah, blah. Her music's okay. I don't know if she's the right choice for this. And then you watch the movie and you're like, oh my God, she's incredible. She did such a great job voiceover wise as an actress. And I also think this is one of those things that kind of got her back in the public consciousness. And then boom, the story, whatever it is, This Is Us or whatever, comes along a few years later, and she's back to being a household name in a big way. So And incredibly, I met her one time at a Critics' Choice Awards a couple of years ago. Beautiful woman, striking. She's tall. You're just like, oh my god.
Is
So
she?
yeah, I was surprised. So so I enjoyed speaking with her for a few minutes. She's really nice, and so this whole, but very, you can tell steely. She's very steely. So there's like a veneer to her that she has kind of groomed to survive in Hollywood. But the voice she does here is great. And Zachary Levi is fantastic. As you said, the
Yeah.
voiceover work here from both of them. The songs really work. The story has a lot of symbolism to it. This idea of wanting to keep a child as long as possible, because then you don't have to grow up yourself. So that idea of like, if she stays in the tower, she doesn't have to be her age, the mom, all of that, and then going out into the real world, wanting to have adventures, and the beautiful and crazy things that can happen, and also not judging a book by its cover like they had in the bar with all those supposedly,
the ruffians.
yeah, the ruffians in the bar, which is great, and so much of it's such a fun, sweet, awesome, fantastic film that will surprise you when you watch it, because you anticipate it's just going to be one of these princess films, but there's a lot more going on throughout the film, which is great. Yeah.
And they had not one but two animal sidekicks that work really well. With
That's
the
right,
horse
the horse.
and the chameleon.
Yes.
Usually it's one. That works really well. And this one's just like, man, they got two excellent ones out of this.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. There's one further up on my list and be like, oh, you have two as well. I think one succeeds glowingly.
Yeah.
The other one's fine.
Yeah. I dated a girl one time. Before I got with Lindley, one of the girls I dated one time for a few weeks, she was obsessed with that lantern scene. She had it like all over her bedroom. Like she had pictures of it and like things on her wall. It was interesting. It was like the obsession of that lantern scene. But
I mean, it's pretty beautiful.
Yeah, agreed. It does affect people for sure. All right. So then what's your 6?
My 6 could be, you might be saying, I guess technically punt.
Okay.
But it's Ralph Breaks the Internet.
I did not put it on my list. So go ahead.
But did you put the other?
Yes.
Do you want to save the overall Ralph discussion for the other?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right. So then my number 7 is Emperor's New Groove.
That's also a punt. Like, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing?
Look at
what
this.
are you doing?
Very interesting.
Do your eyeballs work? You know what I mean?
Well, this is your category. I obviously I acquiesce to you.
What are you looking for in a movie? Good time? Because that's what my list delivers in the proper order.
Going into the top 5. All right. Well, we should take a break here. Hear from our sponsors, Matt, before we jump into our top 5s. And we'll do that right now. All right, there you go. Thanks to all our sponsors here who help us keep the show going. We left off with Matt Nost's number 5. So, Matt, what do you got?
My 5 is Zootopia.
That is my 4. Okay, let's do this.
So the first time I saw it, I've seen it twice now.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then watched it again, with some young, nieces, nephews situation. Yeah. And I was like, this is much better than I gave it credit for initially when I watched it. The Godfather shrew scenes where they're in front of, these big polar bears come in and the bunny, what is that? Hops? What is
Judy Hopps? Yeah, Judy Hopps. Yeah.
She's asking Bateman's Fox character, is like, is that Mr. Big? And he's like, shut up. And then next one comes in, it's a little bit bigger, and she's like, that's definitely in, shut up. And then this huge one comes in, it's like, undoubtedly, this has to be it. And then they put this tiny little shrew on that is a beautiful, respectful homage to the original Godfather.
Yeah.
It's so good. And then it's like they're about to get killed, and the daughter runs in and said Judy's the one that saved her the day before. It's a very like training day.
Yeah.
Where almost got killed, ends up, hey, why do you have this ID by happenstance?
Yeah.
Which weirdly in Training Day to me seems a skosh ridiculous, whereas in Zootopia, I'm like, it seems believable because if we're talking about talking animals.
Right.
I don't make as great a distinction for the logic
Yeah.
as I do in something like Training Day. But anyway, it's got so many scenes like that over and over and over. And then I like the idea that it's the flip on the head of Jenny Slate's Lamb character is
Mhm.
really the one that's the puppet master
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
along. It's a nice twist. I did not see it initially coming, which is
Yeah, of
saying something because
course.
that's all I do in a movie is try and guess.
Right, right.
Here's where I think this is going and whatnot, while simultaneously enjoying it usually. But
Ugh.
great voice casting across the board.
Mhm.
Idris Elba, J.K. Simmons, Jenny Slate, Bateman.
Yeah.
God, who is the lead? She's like a TV actress,
Oh,
isn't
Jennifer
she?
Goodwin. Yeah,
Jennifer Goodwin.
She was the first wife in Walk the Line, the first Johnny Cash
Oh,
in
that's
Walk
right.
the
The
Line.
one that he leaves
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Reese Witherspoon.
And she was in what was the He's Just Not That Into You, that film? She was the lead in that as well. So yeah.
I never saw that.
Yeah, neither have I, man.
But was she mainly on TV? Why do I think of her as a TV actress?
Yeah, kind of. She was in that show. What was it? Damn, what's the name of that show she was on?
She's like a CW/WB actress to me.
Yeah. What is it? Big Love? Right. She was on Big Love on HBO.
Okay.
Then she was on Once Upon a Time for a long time. Yeah, Why Women Kill. That's pretty much. And then on film, she did Mona Lisa Smile, Win a Date with Tad Hamilton, which is where I first saw her the first time. Walk the Line. He's Just Not That Into You. A Single Man.
Yeah, I've seen some of this, but I haven't seen a good chunk of it.
Zootopia was the last kind of feature film, it seems like, according to IMDb or Wikipedia, that she was on. So clearly just fine doing TV, my man. So I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, the film has a resonance where I saw pictures of people dressed up as the sloth at the DMV. There was a picture of somebody at a DMV,
Yes.
and they were allowed to come in costume, and they dressed as a sloth.
That's a great scene.
That is a fantastic scene. I wish they hadn't released that in the trailer or anything.
Oh,
You just
yeah.
got to experience it in the theater because I think it would have been even better. Because it's, the DMV's never been that bad for me.
Right. But it can be.
It can be. Although out here, you can schedule your appointment, and so long as you're scheduled, you get in and out pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have to go and wait, which I haven't had to do in a very long time, I'm sure it takes much, much longer.
Well, being a part of the AAA, it can be even quicker if you go to one of their offices. I've had my registration renewed. I've had my license renewed. All of it there at the AAA, like within 20 minutes. It's great. It's way, way better than the DMV. But yeah, this is a good combo of established voiceover actors as well, because you got Maurice LaMarche in this. John DiMaggio is in this. Rich Moore is in this. These are people that work all the time. Even Kristen Bell has a cameo in this as the co-worker of the sloth there in that scene. So, and Shakira is in this. Shakira
is, and provides a good song too.
Yes, she does. Tudyk is in this. Tommy Chong,
of course. Tudyk is turned into basically their Ratzenberger.
Yeah, that's a good
for
point.
Disney Animation. Yeah. He ends up in now every project in some capacity, it seems like.
But I love Jenny Slate, man. I mean, talk about just completely taking a shitty situation and turning it around for your career, and being successful, and saying that F word on SNL, and people still bring it up. I saw her get interviewed about it, and she was like, people still bring it up. I don't know why people bring it up. I went home, I ate a whole pizza, I drank 2 bottles of wine, I woke up the next morning and said, okay, I gotta get a job.
Yeah, I gotta move on.
And it's very healthy, dude. Very healthy.
And simultaneously, it's like it doesn't seem like a fireable offense.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, of all places you think you might get away with saying that.
The edgy, hip Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Maybe, keep her off air for a few weeks.
Right.
But then it only
die down.
Yeah. Then it only adds more buzz when she comes back.
Yeah, exactly.
It only helps you, at least in that first episode.
Yeah.
And you could do a sketch about her almost saying it.
Yeah, that's true. That would
and it's just like, oh, look at this.
Turn it around.
Yeah, and then you just never reference it ever again. Just move past. Unless NBC was already in trouble with the FCC for something.
Maybe.
So
but
it's
she's
a goodwill
done fine.
gesture.
She's done fine.
She has. She has worked consistently since then.
Yeah. She was even dating Chris Evans for a while. So shout out to Jenny Slate.
I didn't know that. Good for you.
Yeah, good for you. Good.
Lizzo probably doesn't much care for that, you know? I love that she drunk tried to slide into his DMs. Good for you.
Oh, man.
It's good stuff. Are you kidding me?
Get it, Lizzo. Get it. Get it.
Hell yeah. Get America's ass.
Oh, man. All right. Then, so my number 5 is one that came out earlier last year, Raya and the Last Dragon.
I haven't seen it yet. I heard bad things. I heard
From
bad
who?
things.
From who?
Well,
It's
I
so
only
good.
read reviews. I don't, watch. So technically,
Okay.
when I say I heard bad things, it's just like, okay, well, I read on Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes and a few other places that it was not that good.
I loved it.
Really?
Absolutely loved it. Yeah. I thought
Talk
it
to
was
me. Speak to me.
great.
Why was it so good?
Well, because to me, the story here, it's a very cultural story, obviously told here, an Asian story here. And I think, what's her face? Kelly Marie Tran does a fantastic job as the lead character, kind of exploring, going on this journey here because her father has turned to stone. There's this evil that's across the land, and she's got to fight this evil in order to restore her father, restore the land, to bring how can I say this? Have everything flourish again like it did in the past. So yes, maybe there are some shades of stuff you've seen before, but the animation style is fantastic. Awkwafina is funny as the Last Dragon throughout the whole movie. Maybe that's what grated on some people that aren't the biggest fan of Awkwafina. And I enjoyed the look of it overall from top to bottom. I just really enjoyed the look of it. So I was really surprised that anybody would say anything negative about this.
That's I mean, I could be wrong. I could be misremembering, but I could swear at the time when it came out, the general consensus was,
Rotten Tomatoes has it at 94%, Matt. So
what's the audience score? Did I say, what did I
don't know. What's the audience score?
I swear to God, I remember it just getting like a meh across the board.
On Metacritic, it's 75 out of 100 on Metacritic.
That's still good enough to watch. And
Cinema Score has it as an A. So
I never look at Cinema Score. Is that a good one?
I don't know. I don't like to look at Cinema Score.
I think Metacritic is honest, but too honest sometimes.
All right.
I think it's honest. Whereas Rotten Tomatoes could be the worst for television because everything is 100%.
Is it really?
Oh no! I mean, so many shows are it's 100%. And you're like, are you fucking kidding me with this?
Yeah.
Whereas their movies, I think, pretty consistently are in the ballpark of, I think, what general consensus is. Every once in a while, it's like a they loved it, audience hate it, or they hated it, audience loved it situation. But that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Some of that you can count for fanboying and whatever else.
Oh, right. Yeah. Like what happened with Eternals. Some people went after it because it had a gay character in the movie, and it's like, come on, y'all, grow the fuck up, man.
Yeah,
just judge it on its merits, for God's sakes.
I haven't watched it yet because I know so many different people that have seen it and said it is eternal. It is 2 hours of boring. It's actually an hour and 50 minutes of boring. In the last 10 minutes, they try and fucking blow your mind with quick action, and then they're out. I'm like, that sounds terrible.
Yeah. It's a divisive film for sure. There's some
I've heard that from so many different people. Basically, that gist of a description. Am I going to eventually watch it? Yes.
Right. Yeah.
But I am looking forward to other things in the theater, and I'll save my time on that one.
Yeah, I've seen it twice now. I'm not in any rush to see it a third time. Eventually Lindley and I will have to watch it for the show we do on stereo on Saturdays because we're rewatching all the Marvel stuff.
Yeah, but
now we're caught up.
Point?
We're caught almost. We got to get through Loki. We're about to start Loki.
Oh, you're doing the TV shows too.
Yeah, and TV shows. So once we finish Loki, I think we'll do Eternals because that's enough time for people to have watched it, and then we'll jump into Hawkeye, and that might be like current. We might do an episode a week talking Hawkeye.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Well, that looks boring as shit to me, but that's just
what?
Me.
Oh, you're crazy.
That's me projecting on the Hawkeye character. I will tell you this. That Spider-Man trailer looks pretty excellent.
Right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And the criticism I've seen on Twitter, at least, is that looks more like a Doctor Strange movie. Like, that's not a bad thing, in my opinion. It's not. I'm not saying I didn't like the Spider-Mans, but it could be an awesome marriage.
Yeah, and people are so mad. It's just like Iron Man showing up in the first one, right? People are so mad because there's like, Spidey can stand on his own. He doesn't need to have other MCU people along. It's like, I don't mind it. I like it, actually. I think it's a new approach to the character.
Yes.
And it works. Yeah.
It's very rare when any of the Marvel characters at this point stand alone.
Yeah.
Super rare.
Right.
Usually there is some sort of crossover, even if it's just for a stinking cameo.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Shang-Chi.
Right.
Wong comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a part of it. Certainly Eternals, there's conversations, but it's
no direct.
Yeah, right. Exactly. No direct, but it's essentially hatching or constructing out a whole new world, so it's crazy. All right, so let's move on to our next thing. Where are we at? Whose turn is it? I forget. Oh, yours. 4, right?
Well, that was my 5. Yeah. So what was your 5? Did we do your 5? We just did your 5?
We did my 5 was Raya. So what was your 4?
That's right. My 4 is Moana.
That's my 3. All right.
Great songs.
Yeah.
Oof. I mean, just great song. You want to talk about like basically the animated version of Rocky when she's like, that fucking just gets you going, man. Every time I hear that, it's just like, that is a good song. And then You're Welcome from The Rock. That's fun. The idea of his tattoos coming to life and whatnot. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be The Rock's best movie.
Whoa.
What else?
Slow down.
The Rundown. What else are we talking about? Jumanji.
You going all the way back to The Rundown?
Those are the 3. What has he done? Jumanji, The Rundown, Moana.
Every single Fast and Furious movie.
Well, he's only in. First off, little brother, you need to come back for 10. And let me teach you some of my technique.
That little punk talking his shit about The Rock.
I hope it pisses The Rock off, man, and he doesn't come back. I really hope he
shouldn't come back. The Rock, Hobbs and Shaw made a crap ton of money. He doesn't need to come back.
Well, I read somewhere that he would come back if he could use that as leverage with the producers to guarantee another Hobbs and Shaw, or potentially 2 Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh,
yeah.
All right, maybe.
Because it doesn't sound like he wants to deal with Vin or Tyrese, or I think those are the only 2 he has. But
Tyrese is out of control, man. Just leave The Rock alone, man. It's all jealousy. I think it's jealousy. I think it's full on jealousy.
100%.
Right? They're all like, I'm a better actor than The Rock. I should be more successful than The Rock. Rock's over here like, man, I'm just doing my thing, dog. And clearly there's something I'm doing that a lot of people like, and something you're doing that not enough people like.
You know what it's called? It's called charm.
Yeah, charm.
He is utterly charming.
He is, man. And he's authentic. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sense that this is a guy who really came from nothing to create all the things he's creating. And he's a smart businessman, dude. Like, almost everything gets involved in makes money. Almost everything. He's always working. So
no, he's done exceptionally well for himself.
Yeah. I think Jumanji's in the conversation. Central Intelligence for me is in the conversation. I know it's not one of your favorites.
I know. I have never seen it.
Oh, okay.
Kevin Hart doesn't make me laugh.
Oh, how dare you?
But no, I get it. I get why
he's trying really hard. He's giving you 40 movies a year. He's trying really hard to make it.
And it's not like I don't like him.
Right.
It just, comedy's very subjective. And it's just like, I understand why people like and get it, and it resonates. Just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's probably my racism too. You know what I mean?
Oh, Jesus. No one's saying that.
It's always, I like a good white comedian. I say publicly that Chappelle's my favorite comedian of all time, but that's just to get people off my back.
Off the scent.
Yep. Just throw them off the scent.
That's genius.
David Duke's cousin has an amazing comedy album.
Yikes.
I'll get it for you. You can't buy it in stores. Let's just say that much. It comes in a brown sack.
Oh, terrible. No thanks.
Yeah, no thanks. I can't even fathom what that would be. Well, I can't fathom what it would be. I don't want to
I think it would
partake in any of that.
But Moana, anyway, Moana, yeah, great film that kind of gets, like you said, get that feeling of a young girl coming into her own, finding her power, finding her strength, having a really strong connection to her heritage, to her family, and going out there to try to kind of stop this god from doing the things that he's doing. And then you got the chicken with Alan Tudyk doing the voice of the chicken, The Rock with what he's going through. I love the crab, Tomatoa, I think his name was. Jermaine Clement, that song "Shiny," that's a fucking good song. I have that on my iPod. I love that song.
Yeah,
Shiny.
This is the movie I was alluding to earlier with all the extra animal characters. The pig,
Yeah.
I think, is fine.
Oh yeah, the pig. Right. I forgot.
Whereas the chicken is pretty excellent.
Yeah.
And I love if you've ever seen the behind the scenes of Tudyk doing his voiceover and be like, I
Yeah.
went to Juilliard. And then he does a rooster. And you're like, I love that you understand everything about this. You see it for what it is, and you don't give a shit. You're like, I'm here to have fun. But yeah, he is their good luck charm.
And it's 3D computer animated, so it's got like a lushness to it that you haven't seen before in any other film. It wasn't that long ago, Matt, when people were like, "We did water," like animators were like, "We did water." Now you got
that and fire,
film.
and
fire,
smoke.
Right. Yeah,
it's like really complex. As simplistic as it is, it's exceedingly complex.
Even hair, right? With Tangled and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, when Monsters Inc. came out and they were talking about Sully's hair and how much rendering time it took, and they had to write new programs for it and the realism of it. But you can spot it when it looks bad.
Yeah.
So taking that extra time, it makes a difference.
It's one of my favorite memories as an actor, man, was booking the scratch track for this film, getting to go to the Walt Disney Animation Studios, getting to be directed by John Musker and Ron Clements for an hour and a half doing The Rock's lines, because they wanted to pitch the movie to The Rock. So I went in there as a Rock sound-alike because I had auditioned for it through William Morris at the time. And I mean, they paid me $200. It was nothing.
I was about to ask, you get full, it's got to be a union job.
No, non-union job. Walk in there, get a couple $100 and just record the scratch, because it's a scratch track. It's not going anywhere except for The Rock to listen to.
You're on the studio lot. It's for a full movie, you would think. In this instance, it's amazing how they can get around and classify as non-union on occasion, but whatever.
Yeah, getting to be directed by those guys who've directed like Beauty and the Beast and I think Little Mermaid as well. It was great. So, and seeing all the animation ahead of time, knowing the story changed a lot from what I did. So clearly it was still in the process of changing around what they were going to do. But it was nerve-wracking, Matt, because I mean, you're with incredible professionals and you're like, I didn't even want to audition for it because I'm like, I can only do The Rock like The Rock in the wrestling thing as a playful imitation, not a full-on impression.
Yeah.
But my agent was like, no, just submit it.
Yeah, why not?
I'm not going to do it. I don't want to. And she finally, there was like a 2 hours before the deadline. She's like, will you fucking record it? Just submit it. I'm like, all right. I did like 20 lines and then submitted it, and they hired me. And I was like fucking shocked. So then when I got in there, I was so nervous to try to sound like The Rock. And when you're nervous, you take any little like look or word or whatever, and you can question yourself. So it was a whole process, man. But I loved being in there. And I thought to myself, man, one day I would love to consistently be coming back and do something. And who knows? It's still, I'm still somewhat relatively young for the voiceover game. So who knows? We shall see.
Oh, yeah. I think it's pretty timeless.
Yeah, it can be. But it was a nice experience. So
depending on what the character is.
Yeah.
It's like if you do some young, buoyant voice for a character after 20 years, it's like your vocal cords can't really pull off what you once could.
I envy those ladies who can, do the kids' voices up until their 50s and 60s. It's pretty incredible. Like Yeardley Smith, right? She does Lisa, and what's her face does Bonnie Cartwright does Bart, and she's like in her 60s, 70s, man. It's incredible. Anyway, all right. So that was your 4.
Correct.
So my 4 was Zootopia.
Okay.
We talked about it. So
my
then
3 is Big Hero 6.
That is my 2. Ooh, interesting.
Do you
Interesting.
have that other one?
Maybe I don't have the other one
Maybe you don't.
because my 3 is Moana. So your 3 is Big Hero 6, which is my 2.
Yeah, your deuce.
So maybe I missed one, or maybe I don't like one that you like as much. So we shall see. Oh,
Quite possibly.
your punt. It's the punt from earlier, isn't it? Wow, that is wow, Matt. Okay.
I mean, we got 2 spots left after this Big Hero 6.
Yeah. I mean, this film is
How there hasn't been an entire franchise of this is beyond me. They're finally coming out with another one,
yes,
but it's going to be a
Baymax.
TV
Yeah.
show, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
Baymax.
Mm-hmm. It has been a TV show. There was a 3-year run of a TV show that just wrapped up, I think, earlier this year or last year. So, but it was on Disney Channel, so it was just like it was a show. But yeah, the fact that there hasn't been multiple sequels of
I-
Big Hero 6, considering it's a Marvel property, is pretty surprising.
Yeah, released by Disney, so it's their first big, huge superhero in animation. It was successful.
Yes.
I went as Baymax for Halloween that year, gave you the costume, but I had so
bring that
many
up again?
kids.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know, you stole it from me in essence.
What? Go ahead.
And I gave it to you. I loaned it to you, and yet it has disappeared.
I don't know
Like
what
Atlantis
happens.
before, and now it's just a fable that we tell our children that it once existed. I had so many kids run up to me, awestruck, just blown away, because I did it for my nephew and niece down in San Diego. So we were in a neighborhood where there were hundreds of kids running around, and I had numerous run up and give me a hug.
Oh,
like unannounced, just run up and just, hey, Baymax, and like grab onto my leg or something. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, you feel weird at first, and you're like, just in that, hey, I'm not trying to be weird with your kid, even though the parents didn't take it that way, but you're in your own head.
Right.
It happened to me one time. We went to Disneyland one year. Catherine and I have a tradition going to Christmas, although we're breaking it. Disney's just getting greedy.
Yeah, dude, it's a lot of money now.
It's a lot of money, and now if you want the fast pass, you have to pay for it, and there's tiers on the system, and you're like, man, fuck off! You're already charging like $200 for the day, and now you want extra money on top of it to take advantage of a system that's always been in place. Like this is gross.
Yeah.
It's a 15-year tradition, and we're not doing it. It's like, nope, not going to happen. Not going to feed into your bullshit. But it had kids. It was either 3 or 4 times, literally ran headfirst into my crotch.
Ooh, yikes.
And Catherine was like, what is going on with your crotch today? And I'm like, I don't know. I'd just be standing there, and the kid just run up and barrel right into it. So it reminded me of that. I turned to her and was like, this is like Disneyland. What the hell's going on? But to see the light in their eyes, just like, how has this not been made into more movies is beyond me. It's a fun story. It's unique. It's a great, the loss of the older brother, and then the character comes to represent that older brother. And then the journey that they go on and the growth of the characters overall. And they get a bunch of great humor and action out of the movie. The side characters are all interesting and unique. I don't know. It just seems like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah. I was surprised as well. And it tells a fantastic story. You've got great voiceover work, as you stated here. And it made like almost $700 million. It made almost $700 million. That tells you the kind of love that people had for this movie, and the families and the kids that want to keep going back and watch it. It's inventive. It's real. Like you've got that, you got the pretty sad storyline of him losing his brother in that way and dealing with grief, and how Baymax helps him deal with grief. And then that final video he plays of his brother. Oh my God, that's devastating. And you've got a villain that is kind of understandable. Like you get why
his motivations make sense.
Yeah, they do. And you're like, wow, shit, I didn't like him. But then now when you say this, I'm like, I can understand the frustration and what have you, and what he did to try to get his daughter back. It's crazy. So there's so much inventiveness in this film that I thoroughly love. And I love the Baymax character, man. I got so emotional watching that movie all the time because it's just so good and so real. And there's such a genuine desire to help, throughout the movie. And the kid, what he's processing it, you see him go through that journey, and so much of that journey is filled with so much emotion that you can't help but cheer for the kid, even when he's off base or when he's like, and when Baymax turns, oh
Yeah.
my God, that really throws you for a loop. So, as I said, there's just so much inventiveness and twists and turns throughout that keep you excited about the film and constantly wondering where we're going next, you know?
It's not often that you can create a franchise like that
Yeah.
and to then not take advantage of it when the public is clearly intrigued.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully the TV show is good, and it hooks a whole new generation of kids to a very fun, original movie.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to watch it. I hope it's good as well. It'll be interesting to see how many of these characters come back and how many of the voices come back, because it is in essence, it is an Asian, led story, but there weren't a lot of Asians in the cast, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes about. All right. Where are we up to now, my man?
Well, let's see. We've done your 3 and now your 2, right?
Yes, we've done my 4, 3, and 2. So
my deuce is Treasure Planet.
Go ahead, my man. Take it away.
The punt from earlier.
Yeah, my number 8. Something's wrong
8.
with my eyes, apparently. Here we go.
It's such a great adaptation.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
Of the original book source material. And this is one of the ones I first ever heard we didn't have a princess.
Yeah.
And that's one of the leading reasons why it failed. But it's just a gorgeous update on Treasure Island.
Yeah.
To take it into a more, futuristic kind of tone, but still set in the past because the ships for some reason look like old galleons.
Yeah.
And whatnot. It's this weird hodgepodge that somehow for me works exceedingly well. I mean, perhaps it was, it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt on the main voice, and he was just coming off of 30 Rock, so he didn't have, or Third Rock rather, didn't have quite the pull. And then it's David Hyde Pierce is a voice. Like, it's not the most star-studded of casts, but I think the story and idea itself are so unique. And it's I don't know, because it's such a departure from what Disney does, maybe that's why it stands out so much to me.
Okay.
But I love it. The bond that he has, the young kid with Blackbeard, and the betrayal there, I felt that. Still feel it when I watch it now. Because he needs a father figure. That's what he's missing, and he thinks he finally found one. That ultimately this guy doesn't want to deviate from his motivations, but it tears him apart a little bit too.
Yeah.
And this push and pull from both of them, I don't know. I just think it succeeds. Plus, it's another movie where I think the computer animation really adds to some of the storytelling elements.
Yeah.
Gives, scope and size that would be difficult to do. Not impossible, but difficult to do in hand-drawn.
Yeah.
It's easier to render in a computer to keep pulling off the same kind of crispness over and over and over again for these big, set pieces. Because back in the day, it'd just be like a matte painting and then things move over top of it.
Yeah. I think Treasure Planet and Atlantis are the two of the ones, and we've spoken about this on the show, Matt, so we're not breaking any new ground with this, but like, just to reiterate that, these are the two of the most underappreciated Disney films. And when you speak to some people who love movies, they feel the same way. Like, there's a real strong contingent of people who stump for Atlantis and stump for Treasure Planet, because as you said, it's a fantastic interpretation of the classic novel in space. And it doesn't when you try to put stuff in space, it doesn't always transfer over and work, but it does here. And that's what I find to be really great about the movie overall. And it works. And like you said, you feel that betrayal. You feel that he's like, he's excited to be a part of this thing and what it all leads to. And then what it ends up becoming is a big shock. And it's great voiceover work throughout, an inventive look of the animation as well, through the different sequences. All of it works really, really well. Yeah. It's shocking that it isn't as beloved as it should.
Yeah. It's shocking that some people put it at 8 on their list,
You know what?
Shocks all abound,
Shocks all around.
Shocks all around, baby. Shocks abound. All right, so we've done your 2 then.
Yes.
So my number 1 is The Emperor's New Groove.
Okay. That is my number 7. So
just ridiculous. You got the order
Wow.
wrong.
You have it at 1.
Dude, it is Warburton's
Yes,
voiceover
agreed.
and character,
Oh, please.
next level.
Who are you talking to? Squeakity
Next
squeak
level.
squeak. A squeakity squeak squeak.
Squeak.
Yeah, it's great.
The poison for couscous. Couscous is poison. The interaction between him and Eartha Kitt
Yes.
is
So good.
the best pairing voiceover that I think
Yeah.
Disney may have ever done.
Yeah.
It is perfect. David Spade playing a dick, the best casting you could have done. And John Goodman playing the lovable, big, kind of steady rock and all this. Another, just like it is so beautifully voice casted.
Yeah.
It's a fun story. Who doesn't love to see a snotty young punk get his comeuppance and actually, basically Grinch, your heart needs to grow. And it ultimately does.
Yeah.
He goes from this petulant, spoiled, boy king god.
Yeah.
To you're not, everything that you think you are, and you need to be humbled. And it's done in a way where you can ultimately end up empathizing with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is tough to do. And I think it's the set pieces, the choice of putting it in the Incan civilization, you got Machu Picchu type settings and whatnot. And they're up in these gorgeous mountain shots. And I just think it is pretty much perfection as far as a deviation. If you're not going to do princesses, give me this. I will watch this. I think it's just gold.
Yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. I mean, I know I put it lower because the other films to me are a little more magical in terms of their animation or their songs, but the comedy here is stellar. The comedy here is fantastic. As you said, the chemistry with Patrick Warburton and Eartha Kitt, Kronk, I think his name is Kronk, and the back and forth with them at the restaurant, the back and forth with them when they're at the castle or whatever, and then
stupid disguises they put on as they're trying to track them.
All of it is great.
Yeah.
And then you get the interaction between Goodman and Spade, which, like, dude, Spade is, you want to talk about a completely out of the box, out of left field casting decision. David Spade of all people.
But it's perfect.
Right. And
who plays a better dick than an actual dick?
Exactly. And then you sympathize with him when when all the stuff happens to him and he, obviously he becomes the donkey, and then when he's or is it llama? Has he become a donkey or a llama? I forget.
He becomes an alpaca.
Alpaca. Sorry about alpaca. But like that shot of him in the rain with the big sad eyes and just all of it is great to show his progression from being a spoiled kid to understanding how to connect with people and love people. And there's still a little bit of the dick there.
Of course, it's never going to fully go away.
Yeah, right. But he's better about it.
Which I think speaks to the honesty of it, because you're going to change, but nobody's going to be 180 degrees different.
Right.
All right.
Maybe,
what do you got at number one?
Number one is Wreck-It Ralph. It's not even a fucking question.
Oh, I have a bunch over there.
That is my favorite Disney movie, maybe ever, is Wreck-It Ralph. That is me in animated form, which is why. So I'll be real honest with you. That's why I love it. And real honest with everybody who's listening. I see myself in Wreck-It Ralph when I watch it. I for many years I felt I was the bad guy in certain situations, or as cool as I was, as nice as I thought I was, I made missteps in life sometimes. And so I sensed that desire to want more. Like I always felt out of place. I wasn't the skinny, good looking, blonde, blue-eyed guy in high school who was always cool. I was the fatter Latino, darker skinned kid on the outside watching that. And so sometimes I felt like I was the bad guy, not that I was doing evil things, but the bad guy in comparison to someone who's so beloved. And so when Wreck-It Ralph is doing that with Fix-It Felix, I'm like, I know that journey. I know that sentiment, that desire. If you just give me a chance, I can show you what I can do. And so a lot of that, and that's why, Matt, to be honest, that's why I love the movie so much. But the animation is great. The dialogue is fantastic. The inventiveness of using the arcade games, that is genius. And Jane Lynch does a great job with the voiceover, but really Sarah Silverman, 1,000,000%. You don't see that coming. And she is great as Vanellope. And of course, so is Jack McBrayer's Felix, but all of it is great. So that at the end, when he sacrifices himself, oh my God, I'm in tears every time when he's repeating the mantra as he holds on to the gold coin going into the mountain of Mentos or whatever. It's just fucking great, man. So there you go. That's my 2 cents on
Yeah,
that.
the original. It ultimately, I find it depressing.
Well, it kind of is and isn't, but I understand what you're
What
saying.
it
Yeah.
just because they understand the reality of they're trapped in this tiny little arcade game
Hmm.
and the light coming in from the outside, and they live in this dark world, knowing that
Yeah.
they can never escape it, and this is their reality. And you're
Yeah.
like, God, I walked out of the theater going, "That's fucking depressing." I loved the movie, but the emotion I had walking out was
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Whereas the second one, I like the idea of the old adage of you love something, you have to set it free,
Right.
and him slowly coming to that realization. Plus, I thought the comedy in that Bill Hader is the
Oh
guy with
yeah.
the pop-up ads and everything.
Yeah.
I was dying in the theater.
Mm.
Um, so that to me, that I like the second one because it ended on a more positive note. He becomes
Okay.
this overbearing individual and was smothering her because he just wanted her to be his best friend.
Right.
And
Right.
you have to allow her to grow. And there's nothing wrong with her wanting to venture off and do other things outside of your
Yeah.
friendship.
The
Doesn't mean,
stages of it.
yeah, just the growth and maturation of the character. I gravitate towards that, but it's more so because the first one just leaves me depressed.
Okay, like I said, I
It's a
can
great
understand.
movie, and then it just
Yeah.
the end when they realize what we realize, that's
Yeah.
what kills me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's really good. If it didn't have that a different ending, it might be my number one.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, the Ralph Breaks the Internet doesn't 100% work for me because of like I don't like much of the new characters. Like I didn't like the yes or whatever it was. I just didn't 100% gravitate, and I really
Oh,
didn't
the
like the
social media trying to get the
yeah.
likes,
Like
lady.
I was like, you guys are trying too hard. It just felt like you were trying too hard. And the Gal Gadot character, I didn't. I know a lot of people went crazy for it. I it just
Yeah,
didn't work for
that
me.
I didn't care for.
So
The
yeah,
badass driver in the
yeah,
other world.
yeah. It was
I was
one
like,
dimensional.
whatever.
Yeah, I'm just a
Yeah.
badass. That's all. So I was like, all right, fine. But I did like Mr. Knows It All or whatever, Alan Tudyk doing the voice of that
Oh
character.
yeah.
That was really funny.
Basically, it's Google.
Yeah, yeah, basically Google. Yeah, I thought that was good. But yeah, there you go. All right, well, there's our separate top 10 lists of the best Disney animated films since the year 2000. We're now going to compile them into one list, so the official top 10 list. I'm gonna grab my bongos as Matt does that real quick.
All right. So I have a feeling we're going to be Big Hero 6, Moana might be 1, 2. I don't know. He'll have the bongos in a second. So I think it's Big Hero, then Moana, 1, 2. You hear
Sorry,
that?
Matt, say that again.
I think it's Big Hero, then Moana is 1, 2.
All right, Big Heroes 2 on mine. Okay. All right, that's fine with me.
Well, yeah, it's 2, 3 for you and 3, 4 for me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um,
Okay. Yeah,
and
our
then-
ones are dragged down by where we placed our counters. So,
Well, yeah. Well, your one I don't have.
well, I mean, your Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet or whatever.
It's a different movie. Are we saying that if Frozen 2?
Because we
if I had
didn't
Frozen
speak
2,
about it separately, so I thought since it's all together.
Oh, I just figured that it was more so the compare and contrast between the two. And if we didn't want to spill any points that you brought up about why you liked the first one
Interesting.
in the discussion of the second one,
Nice.
I was saving us from talking over ourselves later on
Thank God.
in the air of efficiency of time.
We need Matt Nost's new groove now. All right. What's the next one? What's the next one?
Well, I mean, Zootopia is what? I have it at 5, you have it at 4?
Yeah, 5-4.
I think
Makes sense.
Zootopia.
Yeah.
Then I would say potentially Emperor's New Groove, then Treasure Planet.
Yeah, you have it at 1.
Yeah.
I have it 7. We're not putting Treasure Planet above Wreck-It Ralph. We're not doing that. I refuse to do. I'll take it off my official list. So Emperor's New Groove is fine. Then Wreck-It Ralph. Then we can do Treasure Planet. I'm not putting Wreck-It Ralph all the way fucking down there. No way. I'm not allowing that.
It's the only depressing movie we have on this list.
Are you kidding? There's depressing movies all over this list.
There really aren't. That one ends on a depressing note. It's sad.
It doesn't end on. He's very happy that he's and Vanellope is off doing what she's doing.
Yeah, and then in
she's
the
a
next one, they
star.
realize they can get out of this small little world. And how excited are they about that fact?
No,
Because they've been locked in a cage.
I'm taking the film
John,
as itself.
I know why the caged bird sings.
Oh
It's
my
basically his happiness in this.
Yikes.
I actually don't know what that book's about. I just know that's the title.
Yeah, the Maya
Yeah.
Angelou book.
The Maya. I know it's Maya Angelou. I know that's the title of it. Never
Yeah.
read it. I've never heard a synopsis. Don't know anything about it.
All right.
All
So
right. So then we have Tangled and Lilo and Stitch and Bolt in common.
oh wow, yeah. So how many spots do we have left?
We have 4 spots left.
Okay. So Tangled, I have it 6. Where do you have it?
That's fine. 7,
Okay.
and then Lilo and Stitch.
Okay.
We'll just do Bolt there, and then we can do what's your next highest? I have my 6.
I have my 5, Raya and the Last Dragon.
All right, Raya and the Last Dragon
Ooh,
it is.
nice. All right.
Although I could say I refuse to have it on there above other things on my list, but
You
you know what?
could.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Good person.
Yeah. I know you. You're the first one to tell
A
us.
lot of people are
visual.
saying it. A lot of people are saying it.
You know what? A lot of people say him, Matt. Good person.
I'm hearing good things.
All right, let's do this. The top 10 Disney animated films since the year 2000. Yeah. At number 10.
Raya and the Last Dragon, or Raya.
At number 9.
Bolt.
At number 8.
Lilo and Stitch.
At number 7.
Tangled.
At number 6.
Treasure Planet.
At number 5.
Wreck-It Ralph.
At number 4.
The Emperor's New Groove.
At number 3.
Zootopia.
At number 2.
Moana.
And our number 1 Disney animated film since the year 2000 is
Big Hero 6.
Hey,
Big Hero 6.
a lot of quality on Disney.
Yes, we both didn't have Frozen.
We did not have Frozen, or The Princess and the Frog, which a lot of people love, but I've never seen it. So
I have. It's okay. It's got moments where I think it's really good, and then it's
Okay.
got a lot that I would cut.
okay, fair enough.
I think it's good overall, and they're coming out with a sequel, so hopefully the sequel is better than the first.
Right.
It's not like the first is bad, but I don't think it's probably 11 on my
Okay.
list, maybe 12.
Fair enough.
It's above Frozen. I will say that. Frozen 2.
I feel like everything's above Frozen.
I just
on your list.
It's the only movie distinctly where I'm like, dude, you could cut the trolls entirely. That
Mm.
does nothing for the story. I don't understand why it's even
Yeah.
remotely in the film.
I don't disagree with you there.
And I can't say that distinctly about any other.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Well, there you go. Well, let's wrap it up there. Let's not end on a depressing note. Matt hates that.
no, I'm fine with it depressing if it's intended to be depressing, but they're trying to spin it as it's positive. And it's like, it's not, guys. It's not. They realize they're in their cage and they're supposed to just be happy with it.
Some people are. Some people are.
I know, but it doesn't. Then you see the second movie, doesn't really look like they're happy in their cage. Plus, Sarah Silverman wants nothing more than to get out of hers in the first one. She wants to do anything but the same thing over and over.
Mm-hmm. All right. Fair enough.
Anyway, there's our list.
There it is.
We hope you enjoy today's show. Join us for next week's Black Friday edition of the Live. We'll be doing a Boss Hog topic, so look forward to that. And we'll see you guys then. Be on the lookout for the email. You'll get that Thursday night.
Yeah.
Or early into Friday morning, but it'll be waiting in your inbox Friday morning nonetheless.
Yeah.
And we will see you guys then. Please follow the show at Top 10 Show on Twitter and on Instagram and YouTube. It is / the Top 10 Podcast with the number 10. So please hit us up. And you can follow me anywhere at Matt Nost. Check out Settle the Score if you want to see or listen to another movie-related podcast, or Dropping Dimes if you want to talk basketball. And that is it for me this week.
There you go. And please don't forget about the Patreon, patreon.com/the top 10. Go and subscribe. Go and support what we're doing here. Over 6 years, we've been bringing you excellent content. Go and subscribe to us and support everything we got going on, or elevate your support to the next tier to show your commitment to the show as much as we've been committed to doing multiple shows every week for your entertainment. Give us some love as we create more and more stuff here on the Patreon. And of course, as Matt has alluded to and I've alluded to in the past, we're going to come up with a couple of more tiers where people can donate at higher levels, because a lot of you have been requesting if you can donate at higher levels. So we'll figure that out certainly as maybe before the start of December, so we can have that going into the new year as well. All right, as for me, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram, on Twitch, The Outlaw Nation, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/John Rocha Says, and my other podcasts, the Cinephiles and the Geek Buddies. There we go. All right, well, y'all take care of yourselves. Be well. We'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of the top 10.